2-4 was not what Nebraska fans were hoping for, but at the same time, coming off a nice win against Purdue, in which they pretty much controlled the game start to finish, it's possibly something to build on. Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. We would like that you like the video, smash that like button, of course, subscribe here, and hit that bell for the notifications. That way you know when we're going live. We've got a Nebraska live show every Thursday night at 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Zach Reeder's on the line with fifth quarter college football to help us talk Huskers. Zach, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Mark?
I'm good. Nebraska with its final regular season game, although, of course, the Big Ten championship weekend will include everybody in play and a team to be determined. I find that kind of intriguing, not knowing who's going to play who the last weekend of the season until we see the results on Saturday. So who knows who Nebraska could play? It could be Maryland, could be Rutgers, whoever they're going to play. It's going to be a different opponent and another game to get better and evaluate the talent. All right, Zach, in terms of this Minnesota matchup, based on what you saw last weekend and how it's progressed through 6 games, what are those next steps for you that you would like to see? Let's start on the offensive side to see this offense progress.
Well, building off of last week, I think if you watched the game, you saw Nebraska take more vertical shots down the field. Still not enough, and they still don't have that dynamic passing game, and they need that dynamic passing game in order to establish that offense to its full capability. So I think that Nebraska still needs to find that passing game. They did a good job. I mentioned earlier when we were talking that they needed to establish a vertical pass game and horizontal. They were able to do the horizontal, which had opened up the run game a little bit, allowed them to use a little bit more of their athleticism, but still needing that vertical pass game. But it was good to see Dedrick Mills back, Adrian Martinez building off of a guy who really was down in the dumps. It seemed like a few weeks ago, all we were talking about was McCaffrey. Now he was back, played a really good game, efficient. If he can establish that downfield passing game, he is going to be really dangerous, back to what we saw freshman year from Adrian Martinez. But I really like to see Dedrick Mills back. That was a big help for the Huskers in the pass game and in the run game.
The defense played reasonably well, considering it's a team in Purdue that doesn't run it well, probably worse than the Big Ten, but they've got an elite wide receiver core and certainly made it a game because they can pitch and catch. But Nebraska, for the most part, kept it under control.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the reason you saw that under control is you saw guys like Cam Taylor-Britt step up and really, for the most part, lock down one of the better receivers in the NFL. I don't know what I was thinking. In the Big Ten. And
someday will be.
Yeah, someday, David Bell. But he did a good job locking him down. I know David Bell had an 80-yard touchdown, made his stats look pretty good, but thanks in part to Markel Dismuke running into Cam Taylor-Britt. But Cam Taylor-Britt was outstanding. Several passes defended. You saw on the other side DiCaprio Bootle. They did a good job, and it seemed like their game plan was to allow Rondell Moore to get those 5-6 yards, and they were good with that because they knew eventually Purdue would get a little bit anxious and try to take that shot, and it'd get them behind the chains. And the Husker defense, really big play from the defensive line. When you can rush 3 and get to the passer in 4 seconds, that's outstanding. Damian Daniels, Ty Robinson, Ben Stilley, a lot of those guys stepping up for the Huskers. So the defense continues to improve. I think that's probably the biggest sign of the entire year. And hopefully they can build Martinez up a little bit more to where he gets comfortable taking those shots downfield, because you got to assume that the run game for the Huskers is going to continue to build with Dedrick Mills and Adrian Martinez.
So, Zach, with 2 and possibly with a bowl game, 3 games left to play, who are the young guys that could emerge here and could be then breakout players in 2021?
Yeah, I think one that I've been kind of conflicted about, but I know he's a true freshman. That's Xavier Betts. He's a guy that I think he's starting to get more playing time. Frost came out this week and said that they've been tightening up the receiver rotation a little bit more each week. And now that it's this late in the season, they pretty much know who's going to be out there. You got guys like Levi Folk, guys like Oliver Martin. You got the tight end group with Austin Allen, Vokalek, and then you've got Wan'Dale Robinson out there. And Xavier Betts is another guy that Frost raves about, how talented he is and how much potential he has. I'd like to see him improve after the catch. But I think that comes with getting reps in a live game and, getting used to taking those hits at a big-time level and playing Big Ten football. So I think Xavier Betts is probably the one guy that Husker fans would love to see improve and, get chances here. As you mentioned, 2-4, you got a game, and then you got wherever the crossover is going to happen. Who knows who's playing in the crossover games, because you got teams like Michigan who seems like they're kind of done with the season in a sense. And then the bowl game potentially. It just gives you several games to get better for next year. And I think that's crucial to build for next year and to end the season right for Nebraska.
Xavier Betts, 11 catches for $137 and a touchdown. And you got Levi Falk, 12 catches for 107 yards. And, of course, he made the big play to get the whole thing started last week with a blocked kick that they almost took in for a touchdown to get them started against Purdue on special teams. Talking Nebraska football, we got Zach Reeder on the line from Fifth Quarter College Football. Please join him right there. And he also joins us on Thursday night. So Husker fans, college football fans alike, we bring in college football fans from every fan base. It doesn't matter. Join the live chat Thursday night, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, talking Nebraska football. So Adrian Martinez comes back next year, and Luke McCaffrey, and it's just kind of odd. In only 6 games, it went from Martinez wins the job, he's the starter, and of course he was getting Heisman hype just a year earlier, and then didn't have the best season and got banged up in 2019, but he's the starter. They struggle on offense. Luke McCaffrey gives them a little bit of a spark. People get excited about him, but then he shows not to be a capable downfield passer. And now Martinez is not necessarily just carving up defenses, but he's had 2 very proficient completion percentage games where he's making the throws and they're moving the chains. And even against a good Iowa defense, he barely let the ball hit the turf.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's what you see, a guy being rewarded necessarily for his he's been a continual team player. He's been supporting the team as much as he can, and he continues to work. And, I mean, it's good to see guys like that, get opportunities. And Adrian Martinez he's been really efficient because he's going through his progressions quick. He's finding his first or second option. He's letting go of it. And I think when you have a quarterback that can do that, it's going to continue to build confidence and build a little bit of trust in that receiving core, and then he can move on to his third and fourth option a little bit quicker too, which is going to be able to help him out and find those deep shots that he's still kind of missing on. But I think that there's a lot of ability with Adrian Martinez, and who knows how the quarterback room is going to look next year. Who knows if the Huskers pursue a Mackenzie Milton. If they don't, who's the guy, Martinez or McCaffrey? If you keep them both at quarterback, then you got a guy like Smothers, Logan Smothers, a freshman from Alabama, who's buried on the depth chart. Or does McCaffrey kind of move and be that guy who can play? We saw him a little bit of running back against Purdue. He can play a little receiver. He's shown it earlier in the year. So, getting as much athleticism on the field and just finding that quarterback who can make the reads as quick as possible and be decisive about it is really all you can ask from a college quarterback.
Martinez at 71% completion percentage, couple touchdowns, 1 pick, 5 yards per carry, and that includes all the losses on the sacks and 4 touchdowns rushing. Nebraska, Minnesota, the Huskers trying to make a late run at finishing 500 with the Minnesota game, and then the crossover game should be interesting to see who they get matched up with on that final weekend of Big Ten play. Again, our Nebraska shows Thursday night at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central with Zach Reeder talking Nebraska football, and you can also join Zach on Fifth Quarter College Football. Zach, we appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.